tardes, good afternoon to everybody, and thank you so much for being with us in this very exciting and multi-talented virtual conference that we're going to be hosting. This is a first for us. We're going to have 3 international speakers that have 3 mother tongues differently, and we will be doing the simultaneous translation in Portuguese, Spanish, and in English. So definitely it's a great opportunity to exchange these wonderful ideas between these countries and for the benefit of everyone in the association segment. As always, it's a great pleasure for Meetings Alliance to support COCAL and be able to host another wonderful virtual conference that will be of benefits to all. Ana María, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Muchas gracias, querida Sandra. A nombre de los amigos de COCAL, su junta directiva y su presidente Pablo Güey, le damos una cordial bienvenida a la conferencia número 9 en esta temporada de conferencias virtuales de COCAL. Nosotros estamos muy comprometidos y uno de nuestros pilares es la profesionalización y cómo nos vamos mejorando. Y en el día de hoy nos llena de muchísima alegría contar con el gran apoyo de Sandra Reed, de Meetings Alliance y todo su equipo, y también del gran colaborador Rodrigo Bonilla de Brasil, con su que nos están apoyando con la traducción en español.
No, yo ya almorcé, iba a descansar un ratito, pero contame, ¿cómo andas?
Le vamos a pedir a los que nos están acompañando que si pueden poner sus teléfonos o sus micrófonos en modo mudo o en silencio, sí. Se lo agradezco. Muy honrados de colaborar con aliados, porque en equipo es que podemos hacer un mejor esfuerzo para Latinoamérica. En el día de hoy tenemos la dicha de contar con 3 grandes profesionales de la industria. Sandra va a hablar un poco de cada uno de ellos, pero nosotros a nombre de COCAL les queremos agradecer su presencia en el día de hoy. Y en la promoción, en las semanas anteriores, vieron que teníamos a la doctora Patricia Latour de República Dominicana. A nombre de ella les enviamos una disculpa. Somos muy afortunados de contar con médicos que nos acompañan hoy, pero hay ocasiones que el deber llama y tuvo una necesidad de quedarse atendiendo pacientes en su oficina en República Dominicana. La doctora Patricia Latour es la presidenta de la Asociación Latinoamericana de Asma e Inmunología, SLIDE, y ella se ha comprometido a acompañarnos en un futuro. Así que nuevamente les agradecemos mucho el que nos acompañen hoy. A los amigos que nos están viendo a través de Facebook Live, ya sea en la plataforma de COCAL, bienvenidos. Por favor, pueden copiarnos o escribirnos cualquier pregunta que tengan, que tenemos colaboradores que están pendientes de las preguntas para hacérnoslas llegar, al igual que en la plataforma de Meetings Alliance en Facebook Live, tratando de hacer más accesible todas estas oportunidades de educación. Así que luego de los panelistas compartir con nosotros, vamos a la sección de preguntas y respuestas. Nuevamente, gracias por acompañarnos en la tarde de hoy. Y Sandra, te dejo para que puedas presentar a nuestros excelsos invitados.
Perfecto. Buenos días otra vez. Well, we have with us Susan Robertson, CAE, as well as the president for ASAE, quite a wonderful, very great initiative association, which main purpose is to assist everyone in the association's part of the meetings market. She oversees all the strategic and operational aspects of ASAE and ASAE, the research foundation. As we all know, this is all for nonprofit subsidiary. ASAE as a business solution has been working with this organization, with the meetings market during 19 years, and she has consistently held senior leadership position and is a great spokesperson for the association profession and the power of associations. Thank you very much, Susan, for being with us.
My pleasure.
Great. Excuse me here a minute, I'm sorry. Dr. Mario Adames. Dr. Adames joins us from Brazil. He will be He is a graduate from the University of Católica de Pelotas from 1992. He has quite an intensive curriculum within the orthopedic and, the orthopedic and trauma for foot and ankles career in the medicine world. I'm very sorry. And his expertise will help us very much in helping us understand how we'll be able to work within the countries and how the medical associations from the Brazil area are fitting into all these new and challenging situations that we're all going with. And last but definitely not least, last minute participant in our group, and very happy to have him as a great help for us. Excuse me, Doctor. Ayúdame, Ana María.
Alejandro Duarte.
Alejandro Duarte. I'm sorry, I'm looking for your resume in this moment.
It's okay.
Dr. Duarte. Dr. Duarte studied in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in plastic surgery. He has also lived in Missouri and has a current career in Mexico. His help with us will also be able to exchange the ideas as to how it is to be working with associations out of Mexico, and how through the International Society of Anesthetic and Plastic Surgery, they're being represented throughout the world and in Mexico. So thank you all for being with us.
Great. Thank you so much, Sandra. And it gives us great pleasure. What we're going to do now is each one of our distinguished guests will provide their view on what's happening within their organizations, not only with the COVID, but also how are they progressing with the benefits to their members and how they view the opportunities that lies ahead. And right after that, we're going to go with a Q&A. Yo sé que nosotros tenemos traducción y si nos lo permiten, algunas de mis comentarios los voy a hacer en ambos idiomas. Por aquello de que algunos de nuestros amigos latinos no entran a tomar la traducción. Ahora nuestros queridos y distinguidos invitados nos van a dar un poco de su percepción desde las organizaciones que representan y cómo ellos están enfrentando COVID en términos de los beneficios que ofrecen a sus socios y las oportunidades que ven. Y luego de ello vamos a la traducción que está pasando a la misma vez. Vamos a aprovechar en el chat, les vamos a poner, si te parece, Sandra, los potenciales códigos que tienen los colegas para que puedan entrar a la traducción. Algunas personas están preguntando si va a ser todo en inglés. En la medida que se pueda, vamos a tratar de hacerlo por respeto a nuestra gran invitada Susan, y ambos doctores se han ofrecido, pero el idioma del corazón es el que nos llama, y en cualquier momento ustedes saben que aquí cambiamos de inglés a español. Así que, having said that, Susan, all this introduction to let our wonderful audience know that we're going to be doing this in Spanish, English, and Portuguese. So we're going to start with you. Thank you so much, and share with us how at ASAE you are working with the members throughout these times.
Okay, thank you so much, Ana Maria. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure, and thank you so much to COCAL for inviting me to share some thoughts with you. Has been said, I believe, I'm Susan Robertson. I'm the president and CEO of the American Society of Association Executives. We are based in the US and largely focused there, but we have members and work throughout the world. So we're a little bit of both. We have 45,000 members who are associates professionals. There are also industry partners who serve the association community and consultants. Really, ASAE exists entirely to help association professionals lead their organizations in the best way they possibly can. And in that way, we help associations achieve their own missions. We're kind of an assist to that goal. We provide education. We also provide advocacy. We form community around association management. And also we amass the knowledge of the profession. We have a credential called the CAE, the Certified Association Executive, that is part of the service that we offer. So it was a pleasure 2 years ago to be with you in Panama for COCAL. And I have to say that when I reflect back on that experience, how different things are today. how different they are even since February and March. And associations in the US and throughout the world have been deeply affected by the pandemic and by the changes that we are in the midst of. So, before I go much further into that, I do want to say that we view this as, a crisis that faces the world. It's not something that is just in the US, certainly. But if I had spoken to you even 2 months ago or 6 weeks ago, I think my message might have been slightly different, as the US is in the middle of a resurgence. And so that changes things ever so slightly. But association executives and the associations that they lead are adapting. I'm really proud to say that associations around the world and in the US have stepped up to deliver on their missions. So many of our associations are involved in the front line and helping patients and helping deliver healthcare, helping deliver food through supply chain, endless ways that associations are serving the world right now to help us through this crisis. And so what's really important to ASAE is to make sure that associations are sustainable through this crisis, that when we get on the other side of it, we're even stronger and better. Because I would say without question that although we'd like to think that things will return to the way they were, the title of this conference in terms of a new reality is really what we're faced with when the pandemic is over or when it's under control. And so associations are not immune to having to change their business models and rethink what has been a business model that has sustained us for many years. ASAE is 100 years old. And I would say that we probably have had the same business model for 25 of those years. And although there can be shifts in revenue streams and the way we operate, within a range, it remains pretty much the same. But this pandemic has been such a disruption to all of us that we're going to come out on the other side running our organizations differently. There are some concessions in there. Sadly, a lot of our revenue that is generated by face-to-face meetings, as with many other organizations, is under siege. And so we find ourselves needing to cut back in other areas, perhaps even cut back on areas of our value proposition in order to deliver the services that we know we need to deliver. For ASAE, what that means is that we've really adopted a just-in-time delivery model where we are constantly monitoring the pulse of the association community to figure out what kinds of programs, what kinds of information, what kinds of experiences they need in order to run their organizations the best way they can. The challenge for all of us, whether we're directly in the meetings business, whether we're directly in hospitality or we're in the association space, the biggest thing I can say is that these non-traditional ways of running our businesses will be with us for a long, long time. So let me share with you some statistics, because we've done a lot of research, and one of the things is, as I said, to take the pulse of the association community to figure out where they are. So I'm going to refer to a few notes, but we call this the Association Impact Snapshot. So let's talk a little bit about virtual events. Although associations are converting their smaller meetings into virtual events with great ease, it's a little bit more complicated, to say the least, to convert larger conferences into virtual experiences, but that's what we're faced with. And so the association meeting planning community is really saying, let's wait and see what happens before we really think about restoring face-to-face, whether it's in a hybrid, where we're doing part of our meetings with face-to-face experience and part of it virtually until we can do face-to-face with more confidence. How well prepared are associations to move their smaller and larger events to virtual? 56% of those responding said that they were extremely or somewhat prepared. I can remember in March, we had our first Zoom meeting, and it was a board meeting of all things. And we quickly dove in, and now this is just like breathing for us. I think all association professionals have become so adept in the virtual world that it's not a problem to have a meeting. A larger conference where experience, community, and connection are important, or a little bit more challenging in the virtual space. But my observation is that many have entered into that with various platforms that do more than we ever imagined being done in virtual. So that technology is really catching up and supporting us as we go through this longer period of time, relying on virtual. So here's an interesting statistic. Only 5% of associations have global health crisis insurance for their events. And the reason that's important is because it's going to drive the appetite to restore face-to-face meetings even faster. There's great risk if you're not insured for some of your meetings, should things go wrong, if there's a pandemic and so forth. So I think that will be a big driver in the push to restore face-to-face meetings. Another interesting statistic is that 35% of associations project they'll resume meeting in person in the September through November timeframe, and another 40% project resuming meeting activities beginning in January 2021. That's, I think, a pretty consistent statistics that we're hearing, not only from U.S. travel, but also from our association sector. This is just an aside. 55% also project returning to their offices, which sort of indicates that we'll be back to our new reality in some reasonable time frame. But here's, I think, something important to know. What kind of revenue reductions have occurred during this last fiscal year due to the pandemic? 3% of those who responded to our survey said that 10 to 24% of their revenue have been impacted, meaning down. 22% said 49% of revenue, which is a really, really big number. And 18% said up to 90% of revenue. And here's the dependent variable there. It's face-to-face meetings. Those associations whose revenue is highly dependent on a large face-to-face conference, an annual meeting as an example, or Congress, have suffered greatly because they haven't been able to do that. And the fees for registration that you can command for those meetings are not as great as they are for the face-to-face. So that's kind of a snapshot of where we are. Overall, about 75% of the associations that we've been in touch with expect to be back to some reasonable form of business by the fourth quarter of 2020. Again, we have to watch and see what happens with this virus and whether or not there is enough control over it that people feel comfortable going back to business, going back to travel, going back to meetings. So that's a snapshot of where we are in the US right now. So unless there's anything more, Anna Maria, I'm going to hand it back to you and wait for questions. You're on mute.
That's
There.
one of the new realities with Zoom. You think you're talking and then you realize you don't. Very interesting, your comments as to the 56% prepare, of those that were on the survey prepared to move into this new reality. And very encouraging to hear that from your member base, 75% of the associations are looking to quarter four to start in some type of way relating to face-to-face meetings that for us, we believe are so important. We do understand that virtual meetings and hybrid meetings are here to come and help us in the process, but we are so convinced that face-to-face meetings can never be replaced. And somehow we believe that the encouragement that we are receiving from meeting planners and clients is such that those meetings will be very much to look forward and very productive. Wonderful. Thank you, Susan. Doctor Mario Adames, si es tan amable y nos comparte su visión desde la American Society of Food and ANCO. We're gonna put you now on the screen, and we couldn't be happier that you are with us today and share with us a little bit on the association and your view on how are we developing the association. Gracias, Mario. Bienvenido.
Muchas gracias. I will talk in speaking English. I'm Mario Adames. I work in south of Brazil, and Florianópolis is a very beautiful place for life. And I will show a little different view of the meetings or the relationships, more the humanitarian view of this. I organized 2 big meetings in Food and ANCO in Brazil, and I work 4 times in Vietnam, and work 1 time in Haiti, in humanitarian community of the AOFs, the Foot and Ankle Society, the American Foot and Ankle Society. And the coronavirus pandemic is a new time for us because it's changed all the things in our life and changed my family, my relationships, my work, and my future. I think in the world is the same thing. It's a big problem, and the economic problem is relationship problems. Is the families have big problem, and the first institution I think I have in my life and the life of everybody is the family. You need to have a very good relation of your family for you have a good relation in the other relationships in the work or the meetings or the other thing you do in your life. And if you don't have the relation, very good relation with your family, and you have the attention of your family, because this time you have the work and you have a lot of the lives, you have a lot of the other things for to do. Sometimes you don't have the time for your family, and you need to take time for your family. It's the first thing you need to do. Relationships, you need to have the relationship for other people, and here is the photos of the Vietnam, and the group I work together with me is the Sarah, is the Baltimore, a colleague at the Foot and Ankle Society. And this time I do 30 surgeries in Vietnam in 1 week. And it's very important you to get the relation in different kinds of the world, the countries, because it's promote the knowledge, and you need more relation of the news, the meetings of the other people. But it's very difficult. Do you get to have a meeting face to face today? It's impossible. You travel in Brazil. It's impossible. You travel to one part for the other. It's very difficult. Do you have the contact? Is the meetings in my cities maybe is 80% of the economy, and is I live in I think the more beautiful city in Brazil, and almost the things here is around of the meetings and around of the relation of the other countries. And now it stopped, all the things stop, because now is Brazil is in the top of the curve of the COVID, and I need to take more time and more care of the relation of my patients and the relation of my meetings, and all the time I have the lives or have the web meetings for change or change the ideas or some knowledge. This is very important. You have to take care with the relation of the others. And one thing is very important. All the things is more easy to do some homeworks or some web meetings. You sometimes promote the distance of the peoples. Is very important. You take together these people and you study. And the people like to promote the meetings and promote the web and the meetings. Is to need to study when how you do the return of the meetings. It's very one form very safe, because you have some complication about the contact of the peoples one each the other. And this is important. You take care. Example, you see this guy here in one meeting, he changed the clothes. It's nude in front of the camera. And it is very important you take care because you now is a public person. It's no individual person. When you have the homework or web meetings, you need to show your face. You need to contact the others. Sometimes it's not too easy to do. The problem, you can return your work. Show this the Vietnam again is a very simple person working the mountain and do the cut of the mountain for cultive of the rice. It's very hard work. This, but we showed it's different in the first pictures and the last pictures below. Different view is important. You can return in safe conditions for the normal work and develop again the meetings is in contact to face. And in Brazil, the meetings is in development in your orthopedic area in development is no get a session the participants do like to do because you don't have the contact of one people on the other. In Brazil, it's impossible. It's sometimes more than 1 hour of the web meetings, the people lose the attention. And this is very problem for the development of the meetings. In the future is very difficult for you see because I don't have any people have the answer for the time you need for staying home or take care or stay safe because the coronavirus is very different virus and they'll have different vision of the sick and signs of the sick. You don't have the normal line or solution yet. And it's necessary to renew your life. You need to first survey. You need to preserve your life. You need to preserve the others. You need health, not habits. You need health, the people. You need the new work perspectives. You need to develop the new form you do your work for you have the result. Is no time for win the money. It's the time for you survive. It's very important to preserve the environment and sustainability of the world. The education is a big problem today because the people no have attention for a long time, and I needed to take care with us children because the children is us future, and you need the relationship. The web meeting is very interesting because connect the people around the world, but no show me the face, no show me the expression of the people. I need the contact of these people. Sometimes it's much better to do the web meeting, but sometimes it's much better to have very good relation. You look face to face, you have the expression, you have the answer in front, your discussion. It's very good discussion. It's very interesting. And here only sort of promoting some is the life is so simple. You don't need too much things. It's have one dictate. You don't have the magic. You have a price for a pay. And sometimes why you need win $1 more, which you need for your life. Sometimes you lose your family, and sometimes you see some different things. Can you see? Look at this. Is the black chicken? Is the Vietnam market? This is very normal. This is very simple. The people have time for the family, have time for all the things, but no, is different culture of us. Is no problem us, but no is the problem of the pandemic. Is no the people that live in Vietnam, China. The problems is us don't have the preserve the others, no have the distance or no take care of the other people. Thank you very much. This is my city. This is beautiful sunset. And
Eres de
my city, and this is my daughter in the circus. Thank you so much. Is to say in Vietnam, hang up like King Cha. Goodbye, see you again. With pleasure.
Obrigada, doctora Dames. Cocal quiere mucho a Florianópolis. Tuvimos un congreso de Cocal en Florianópolis hace unos años. Así que esa foto es muy cercana al corazón de Cocal. Susan, we had a Cocal Congress in that same hotel where the picture is shown in Florianópolis. Wonderful destination. Doctor, we're going to come back to you with some questions that the audience is asking. Thank you so much for bringing the human side of what you're doing and how you see these times of COVID. But we will get to ask questions about the association. Doctor Duarte y Sánchez, un placer tenerle con nosotros. Un honor que sea usted presidente del Consejo Consultivo de la Asociación Ibero-Latinoamericana de Cirugía Plástica.
Sí.
Y encantados de escuchar su visión de cómo está la asociación manejando la situación, cómo están atendiendo sus socios, y le dejamos el escenario todo para usted.
Bueno, pues muchísimas gracias, Ana María. Antes que nada, I want to thank you, Ana María, that she is a wonderful, very enthusiastic person for COCAI, and I have to talk to you a couple times, but I can see your radiant figure of soul that you have, and congratulate you.
Thank you.
Congratulate you. Vicky Marmolejo, my local person, that she's a wonderful person too. We have been worked together for many years in organizing Congress for the Mexican Association of Plastic Surgery. And I want to thank Sandra for the coordination. Of course, it's my pleasure to be with Mario and this wonderful experience in Vietnam. That's a wonderful experience. I think those you have to live those experiences to really realize what is gives something to people who really need, and to learn from them a lot of simple things that sometimes we forget in life. Of course, Susan, she is a very prepared person, and I am very glad to share with both of you these conferences. We have to give a big jump to the precipice. We have to jump because the pandemic got us without any advice. We plan to do our national Congress and our international Congress. Let me tell you, I represented as a president of the Ibero-Latinoamericana Society of Plastic Surgery that involves 22 countries, Spain, Portugal, and everyone from United States to Argentina, Caribbean, Central America, 22 countries did I represent, more than 6,000 members, including, of course, Brazil, Argentina, all the countries of the Latin America. I was the president in that moment, and we have our Congress in Punta Cana, the Dominican Republic. And what happened? But we have to say, hey, we cannot do nothing. We cannot move. All the lines of are closed. All the countries are closed. We cannot travel. What we are going to do? We have to start to think and suffer what will be the best way to continue with our conferences, with our congresses. But our hands were very tied. We couldn't do nothing. So we start to think, let's put, maybe we start in April, maybe from June, maybe from September, maybe. So we decide to put the Congress 1 year ahead from the time. So we have to move to 21. But we have troubles here. I have been 2 years in the presidency of the Ibero-Latino American Federation, and it's time to change and move because the new gestion was coming up with all the team and their work. So we have big discussions if we need, because the statutes, the law, bylaws say that you have to be every 2 years in a Congress personally to do changes. You cannot do it through internet. So we have to gather all the presidents of the federation of every country and start to do these meetings through internet and decide we have to do it in the new way that the pandemia already showing us. We have to do internet all these changes. We have to make the votations for the new people, and it was very difficult because you know you can electronically you can make you can cheat, you can do things wrong if you decide it. So we have to think very sharply to do things that we can be the most honest and the people will be happy with these changes. So people want that I continue until 21 as a president of the federation. And I say I can do both ways. I can go until physical presence, and I can do it for internet. For me, it's exactly the same. I have changed. I have worked very hard 2 years, and I am very glad. I visit most of the countries of the federation and interchange many experiences. So I am very glad. So whatever you decide, and they decide to do it by this way. So right now, we have to think and change, as Mario says. He said many ideas that I had. I didn't have time to present, do a conference with slides, but many of the thoughts of Mario are the same mine. We change completely our... Some noise or put your... Okay.
Sí, un segundo, doctor. Un segundo, doctor Duarte. Amigos que nos están escuchando, alguien tiene el micrófono abierto. El que nos esté escuchando, por favor, en silenciador. For those of you that might have your mics on, please put them off. Thank you so much. Doctor Alejandro, bienvenido.
We keep going. I keep going. Okay. Entonces, voy a hablar un poco español ahora para cambiar. Entramos en una fase de curva de aprendizaje. ¿Ok? Vimos que teníamos que cambiar totalmente toda nuestra información que teníamos hasta entonces para poder realizar un congreso, para poder realizar educación médica continua. Y yo personalmente he sido profesor de cirugía plástica por 35 años en la UNAM, en México, y las clases obviamente suspendidas. Tuvimos que empezar a usar los nuevos sistemas, como es el Zoom y el webinar, para que cada alumno diera su clase como si estuviéramos presencialmente. Entonces, toda nuestra mentalidad ha tenido que cambiar. Nuestra curva de aprendizaje está siendo continua y estamos abiertos a lo que vaya a venir. Obviamente, ustedes, Cocay, y toda la gente que organiza congresos, vamos a tener que usar la forma híbrida, lo cual ustedes saben significa que tenemos que usar both ways. We have to use the physical presence and the internet presence. Many people will not go to a congress because they will be afraid to get contact with another people. as we used to have dances and reunions and cocktails and all what characterize the happiness of a Congress, but will be a little bit tight. Va a estar un poco comprometido. Mucha gente, a lot of people will be attending by internet, but another people will be attending by presence. So, lo que tenemos ahora que pensar, what we have to think is cómo vamos a organizar esos congresos híbridamente para que tengan éxito, que no se pierda dinero con los contratos de las casas comerciales, con los hoteles, que les va a bajar obviamente la presencia de los participantes. Entonces, estamos tratando, we are trying to discover a new world completely. We were in the point of going to our meeting when this happened. So what we have to do, we start to do our webinar, our Zoom conference every day. We organize a program and we separate the different subjects. Separamos los diferentes temas, ¿verdad? Para dar día por día, day by day, un tema, ¿verdad? Se separaron. In plastic surgery, we have the part aesthetic and the part reconstructive. Tenemos la parte estética y reconstructiva y lo dividimos, we divide it, so that we can learn and keep going in the medical continual education. Tratar de no dejar de aprender todos los días. Obviamente empezaron a saltar por todas partes, they start to jump all around, conferencias de todas partes, lo cual en el aislamiento como estamos fue muy nutritivo. It was very, very nourished to have a lot of conference. You can pick up conference from Europe, from Australia, from United States, from Argentina, from Mexico. So you could pick up many, and that was very grateful. Esto fue realmente emocionante porque estábamos en comunicación. Thanks to the new technology, now we can start talking. One people in the United States, one people in Brazil, one people in Puerto Rico, one people here in Mexico. In the same moment of time, we are see and listen each other. Technology has advanced so much that thanks to that technology right now, we can solve many of the problems of this pandemia and isolation. In the Mexican Association, they decide to wait. They say, no, we have to do it physically. So we are going to go to March. And they vamos a apostar on March. In the Federation, we decide to make the changes. So we made changes. Last month, I left the presidency of the Federation, and I start to be the president of the Consultivo. But right now we have to focus how are going to involve most of the people to go to the conferences, to go to the meetings, talk to the hotels, talk to the medical representatives. The best way that everybody will win and sumar todo el mundo, las personas de los laboratorios que nos patrocinan, los hoteles que no pierdan, nosotros que podamos viajar o que podamos tener el beneficio de la educación médica continua y que no paremos. Entonces, estamos ante un nuevo mundo. We start in a new world. This is es un parteaguas, it's a break in the world, ¿verdad? Will never be the same. No será nunca más el mundo igual que antes. We have to go one step ahead. Tenemos que ir un paso adelante ahora y tenemos que estar todos juntos. We have to be all together working on this. All our minds, our experience, our wisdom has to focus in give that step ahead. Tenemos que dar este paso adelante todos juntos para no perder sino ganar. El virus nos ha puesto de rodillas a todos mundialmente. This virus kneeled us, put us on knee. And we are really learning a lot of things. Most of things are inside of us, our family, as Mario say, our relationship with our people, our peers, las relaciones con nuestras familias, con nuestros empleados, con la gente que trabaja con nosotros, todo tiene que dar un vuelto en esta etapa. Yo agradezco a Cocay, agradezco mucho obviamente a Ana María, a Vicky, a Sandra, que me hayan invitado, creo con mucho gusto esta experiencia que les digo nos ha cambiado, tuvimos que tomar decisiones muy rápidas y ahorita seguimos trabajando muy duro en las clases diarias, en las conferencias diarias y estamos viendo la manera como en los hoteles y con los proveedores vamos a trabajar. Estamos en una curva de aprendizaje y tenemos que estar con nuestra mente abierta. We are in a learning curve and we have to be opening our minds to get the best results and the best benefits for every one of us. Yo les agradezco mucho. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and learn from Susan and from Mario and from all of you, Cocay, this kind of experiences, and I will take it to my federation, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Muchísimas gracias, doctor Duarte. Nos parece muy alentadores sus comentarios, asegurando que esta curva de aprendizaje, no solamente de cómo vivir con el COVID, sino la curva de aprendizaje en el mundo de la asociación que usted representa. I'm going to switch to English now in the interest of time. We have about 12 minutes left in the conference. We are sticking to times and we have few questions. We have prepared questions for our speakers, but there are wonderful questions from the audience. And if you allow me, I will pass on those to you. Dr. Duarte, you kindly share with us how immediately via electronic platforms your association continues to be in contact with your members. We would like to ask Mario and as well Susan, how are you working your education programs, those that have not been postponed or have not been canceled? How are you doing those educational opportunities for your members? Can you elaborate a little bit? That's a question from the audience.
I can ask you first. And I think now it's so easy to do some web meetings, and I have a lot of the meetings in foot and ankle or the orthopedic. Today, I think it's more easy for you learn than before the coronavirus. People, the students, the doctors have a lot of the new informations or a lot of the ideas, the different ideas. And the problems is sometimes some web meetings is open, it's possible. The control is very difficult because you need to unlock the meetings. You need to people for control this, and Brazil and the support of the meetings is sometimes is personal, is the associations to do, and the Brazilian society and Futanenco have some meetings for the people who learn and have the control, but I have a lot of the individuals to do the meetings in different hours, and you stop your day to work day and you have a more meeting the night. And I think the same thing is no of the children's. And I have the children have the computer, I have the cell phone, and I have a lot of the news for see. The brands don't have space for this. Today, this is a big problem that I think need to some regulation of these web meetings, because today is more easy to learn than 6 months ago. I think it's this. And support is having a lot of the supports of the companies and the others or the associations.
Thank you, Dr. Adame. Susan, would you like to share with us how at ASA you're coping with education and keeping up with your members?
Absolutely. One of the things that we're finding is, and Dr. Duarte, you said this, nobody prepared us for this. There's no roadmap for what to do. What we've found is that our members are learning from each other as they go. What we're facilitating as much as we possibly can is just-in-time opportunities for our members to learn from each other. They are facilitated discussions sometimes they're just open discussions of how are you coping, what are you doing? And I've never seen so much peer-to-peer network learning going on that we are not prescribing, we're letting people learn from each other. And then sharing that knowledge with others who had not participated. So that's the first level. And second, I'd like to say that this virtual format serves a smaller meeting very well. In fact, it has changed our cost structure quite significantly. The difference between hosting some of the smaller meetings live and then virtual has caused us to rethink how we might do that going forward. It's no substitute for larger meetings, that's for sure. We had a very successful marketing membership conference earlier this year. We had 3,000 people participating virtually. So we considered that to be quite a success. We're getting ready now to do our annual meeting virtually, which we've never done in our history. And so that's going to be a big challenge. The important thing there is that we're not trying to replicate the live event. We're trying to create a virtual event that serves our members' needs, and that's a very different approach. So those are the two primary points I'd make. And then if we come back around to it, I'd like to make a couple of comments about the requirements that we see for destinations in hosting face-to-face meetings as we try to creep back into them. So I'll defer now to Dr. Duarte.
Gracias. Thank you, Susan. Dr. Duarte had replied in his comments as to they're continuing with Zoom meetings. So the question everyone is asking is, we see through the different chats the two platforms for Facebook and in this Zoom exchange, how is the monies, the finances of the association being affected these days in terms of the main money come from the annual Congress or from the different meetings, and now you're moving from meetings face-to-face to hybrid meetings. So the audience would like to know from the three of you, each of your organizations, how are you coping? Dr. Duarte y Dr. Adames, sus asociaciones, ¿cómo están manejando financieramente este momento histórico donde no se puede tener una reunión cara a cara, pero sí podemos irnos a reuniones híbridas? ¿Alguien gusta contestar primero? ¿Quiere usted, doctor Duarte?
¿Contesto? Voy.
Sí, adelante.
Gracias, Ana María. This is like a marathon run. Es como una carrera de maratón. Todo el mundo está saliendo en masa, corriendo rápido, sin pensar. Todo el mundo ahorita estamos saliendo de este problema, organizando muchas conferencias. We are in the marathon, everybody running as crazy horses, but with the time in the run, con el tiempo se van quedando gentes y se van organizando. Ahora, right now, we are thinking how our finances are going to be. Will be different, but we need money. Every money has to move the associations. So what we're going to do, of course, you have to pay your annual fees for membership. Tenemos que pagar, obviamente, nuestras membresías anuales, lo cual es un ingreso. Pero, como dice Ana María, as Ana María says, congresses are very important income of money. What are we going to do in that subject? ¿Qué vamos a hacer en ese rubro? Que si no hay congresos, no va a haber unos ingresos fuertes. Las casas comerciales, para nosotros los cirujanos plásticos, los implantes mamarios y tantas cosas, las fajas y pues es un gran ingreso. All these are very good incomes for the mammary implants forever. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Yo pienso que ahora dar una respuesta específica no sería conveniente. Right now, give you a complete answer is not fair. We have to study, analyze what are we going to do for the houses of implants. They will help us, and we will help us in both ways. Tenemos que ayudarnos, lo tenemos que pensar. Yo pienso que ahorita dar una teoría, una respuesta, todavía no está muy concreta. Estamos aún, we are starting en esta curva de aprendizaje y tenemos que analizarlo, sentarnos tranquilamente y ver cómo se van a manejar las finanzas. Ya tanto de los congresos, como yo les decía antes, híbridamente, que también los que no vayan al congreso no van a pagar las comidas y las fiestas, pero van a pagar el congreso y de alguna manera va a ser un income. Y de las casas comerciales igual. Se podrá por internet tener información adecuada y llegarle a toda la membresía. Tenemos que analizarlo. Ana María, ahora tener una respuesta específica yo pienso que no sería justa.
Oh.
Yo voy a intentar hablar en español porque...
Tu micrófono, Ana María.
Ahí va.
Voy a intentar hablar en español porque para mí en portugués es más fácil hablar en español.
Pero,
yo pienso que...
Doctora Adames puede hablar en portugués sin ningún problema. Tenemos a alguien que nos está traduciendo. Siéntase libre de hablar en su idioma.
Que hable despacio.
Sí.
Despacio. No,
sí.
Se fala em português é muito
Portuñol,
linear.
portuñol.
Portuñol.
Mario,
Eu vou tentar
portuñol.
portuñol, então.
Portuñol.
Eu penso que porque acho que é uma questão muito difícil de se explicar. Mas eu penso que acá, por exemplo, eu organizei o último congresso del pie y tobillo y si tenemos un lucro muy grande y la sociedad está segura, la sociedad brasileña está segura de pie y tobillo. Mas nos tenemos alguna forma híbrida, como Alejandro
los web meetings, porque podemos fazer alguma coisa mais organizada, onde se tenha um bom conteúdo científico das palestras e se pode fazer uma parte comercial de uma empresa. Por exemplo, posso fazer, não se pode fazer congresso de 3 dias por web meeting. It's impossible. It's impossible. The people don't have attention for this. And the people, Dr. Meyerson, do one meeting for 3 days, is 24 hours in 3 days. The Dr. Meyerson, Mark Meyerson is a big doctor in foot and ankle in the world, and I have 150 persons subscribe in the meeting. But probably is each hour is having 200 or maybe 100 or 300 people don't have the commercial support. The Dr. Meyerson have a lot of the trainers of the world, because these have the more possibility to do this. But I think you get to do one small meeting, the 1 day or 6 hours of the meeting. It's possible you show the very good class and very good teachers, and you need to sometimes do sale space for the commercial company, and you have the same form to do the support of the association. And other thing, I think it's very possible you have you have the small groups. For example, the Brazilian Association Futaneco have one group in my state, Santa Catarina, and it's possible the main association sail for this small states association, and you show the different meetings for the area, because when you take the small area, it's possible to promote the more knowledge and is more contact of the small seats and the other the principal association or the principal group. I think you need to start very small for growth, and you need to connect of the company.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Adames. Starting small and then continue to connect. Susan, I know you have ways to share with us in terms of how are you coping with this situation of the finance at the association. For those friends that are listening to us, we ask you if you are available to stay with us for about 5 more minutes. We just have some closing comments after Susan, and we would like to really share with you estas ideas. A los amigos que nos están escuchando, ahora Susan va a contestar esa pregunta. Tenemos una pregunta más. Hay unas preguntas maravillosas en los diferentes chats, tanto aquí como en Facebook. Y créanme que le vamos a pedir a nuestros excelentes disertantes que nos las respondan vía email y las compartimos con ustedes. Pero ahora le pasamos a Susan el micrófono. Susan, your view on how to cope with finance at the association, with the situation of the meetings, and also your thoughts on restoring face-to-face meetings. We would love to hear from you. Thank you.
I'll make this as quick as I can.
Oh, take your time. Take your time. Yeah, we are honored. We are honored to have all of you here.
Yeah, the finances are very challenging. What we find is generally associations have a lag. We get hit and then it gets worse. So that's kind of the bad news of it. This year, we've been very fortunate because our major meetings have been insured. And because this is a pandemic and kind of out of our control, we've been made whole on some of the major meetings where we could have lost a tremendous amount of money. That said, our membership has stayed steady. We expect associations who are our participants, our attendees, to experience some real budget cutbacks in professional development and in travel. So that's going to affect our attendance in the next year. In fact, we are predicting that we will not do as well next year as we will this year, just because of the unpredictability and the lack of insurance that we're about to encounter. We expect our membership to stay fairly steady, meaning dues. So we're not concerned about that. And we have to now restore registration fees. We've done a lot for free this year for the good of the order because we could do it. But now we're going to have to go back to a fee-based model. Modest though, we have to keep in mind that associations are not going to be able to afford as much. But the comment I wanted to make, so the point is that we're coping with it as we go. You know, we're fortunate that we have some reserves. Associations who have that money for a rainy day, this is the rainy day that you need it for in order to sustain yourself through this pandemic. And hopefully when it comes back with an adjusted business model, we'll be in better financial shape. To my colleagues on the panel, I agree it will never be the same. So we have to adjust to that new reality and see what it is. But I did want to make a comment on destination selection and how the pandemic will affect that. And it really cuts both ways. There definitely will be a new lens by which associations are evaluating destinations to host meetings and their ability to host them safely. What we have is a duty of care responsibility to our members, to our staff, and to the attendees. And so destinations, it's more important than ever for destinations to work together. And by that, I mean, you know, hotels, transportation, the city government, the convention center, everyone, restaurants, all need to come together in order to assure a meeting or convention that it's safe to meet there. As my colleagues have pointed out, this is a very sensitive, dangerous, family-related, inside kind of situation. And we need to restore the confidence in the traveler and in the meeting attendee that it's safe. And the destination is a huge part of that. What the destinations can do is help us to tell that story. So if they have come together and they can provide a safe environment with all of the requirements of social distancing, wearing masks and all the things that we know are necessary to be together physically, they can help associations to tell that story in order to build their attendance. So we need to work together on restoring that. We're taking a short-term view, what's happening right now, and when there are safer guidelines and when there is maybe not even a cure, but a way of controlling this pandemic. And then longer term, how our business models are going to change and how destinations fit into that. The Events Industry Council is doing a lot of work along those lines right now. So stay tuned for those requirements. They'll help everyone around the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Susan. These last remarks I'm gonna make in Spanish for our audience, but I'm sure you will be able to follow. Amigos, les agradecemos muchísimo que nos estén acompañando en esta importante presentación sobre cómo se están desarrollando las asociaciones. Nos compartieron que todas nuestras asociaciones profesionales están en la misma situación en términos de cómo crear el justo balance entre las finanzas que responsablemente se tienen que cuidar y salvaguardar la parte educativa de cada uno de los propósitos de las asociaciones. Tanto Susan como Mario y Alejandro nos compartieron eso. Susan también nos animó a saber que las reuniones de cara a cara tienen que regresar, y algo que hemos estado compartiendo muchísimo en las últimas semanas ha sido que nos toca a nosotros en cada uno de nuestros destinos unirnos a nuestros clientes asociativos como aliados para crear esa conciencia, esa sensibilidad de contar la historia de cómo nuestros destinos son seguros y estamos con nuestros suficientes protocolos de sanidad. We want to make sure that in our destinations we tell the story on how we are not only safe, but we are keeping our families, we are keeping our businesses, and we are going to protect every visitor that comes. So meeting planners and our entire community of professionals have to work on that. Toda nuestra comunidad de profesionales se tiene que unir en eso. No es solamente el buró, la Secretaría de Turismo, sino todos unidos a los meeting planners y OPCs en asegurarnos esas experiencias se empiezan a desarrollar. Amigos, tenemos otras preguntas buenísimas que se han quedado sin poder hacer. Nosotros le vamos a pedir a nuestros invitados que tengan que nos den esa amabilidad de respondernos a las preguntas vía email y las compartiremos con ustedes. A nombre de COCAL, les agradecemos muchísimo su participación en el día de hoy. Para que sepan, tuvimos sobre 130 personas acompañándonos, no solamente en la plataforma Zoom, sino en las plataformas de Facebook de Meetings Alliance y de COCAL. Nuevamente agradecemos a Rodrigo Bonet de YourStream y a Sandra Reed y a todos sus colegas en Meetings Alliance por esta plataforma. Y les pedimos que marquen sus agendas para el martes 21 de julio, que nos rodamos a las 6 de la tarde, hora del este, 5 de la tarde, hora de México. Traigan su roncito, su tequila y su vinito, que les tenemos una nueva sesión de COCAL. Al doctor Duarte y Sánchez, al doctor Adamés y a la señora Susan Robertson, nuestro gran agradecimiento por compartir no solamente su conocimiento, sino su visión de la manera de trabajar en sus asociaciones y de darnos aliento de cuán importante es cuidar el negocio, cuidar la familia, cuidar nuestra comunidad, para que en esta curva de aprendizaje del COVID salgamos todos fortalecidos. A nombre de COCAL, muchísimas gracias por acompañarnos hoy. Que tengan un excelente resto de semana y sigamos aprendiendo. Muchas gracias.
Bye.
Muchas gracias por la invitación. Es un placer hablar con ustedes. Que se consiga voltar o más temprano los congresos, si podemos tener contacto con personas personalmente. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Mario.
Muchas gracias. Gracias por ese liderazgo, Ana María, por esa energía. Es para el mundo tener gente como ustedes, ¿verdad? Es muy importante, muy importante. Como dijiste, que es la clave, es la unidad y el amor hacia nosotros mismos, la humanidad, y hacia nuestra familia y hacia nuestros negocios. Hay que seguir adelante todos juntos, esa es la clave. Número 1, cuidarse mucho, y número 2, estar brazo con brazo para salir adelante. Hand with hand to be forward. Gracias, Ana María, por el placer de dejarme compartir con ustedes magnífica conferencia. Un abrazo a todos, a Sandra, a ti y a toda la gente que ha colaborado, a Vicky y a todos. Gracias, Sandra. Gracias, Susan. Gracias, Mario. Thank you. Muito obrigado. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Susan, thank you so much for joining us today. And the questions that we were not able to present to all of you, we will send them via email, and hopefully you can share with us your wisdom with those answers. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure. I've learned a lot. Thank you, Mario, Alejandro. It's been a pleasure to listen to your words. Mario, thank you for bringing the reality to us. I think you gave us a sense of what this really means. And Alejandro, I think we face the same challenges, and I look forward to meeting you again at some point, and we'll compare notes. But thank you to all of you for participating today. And Ana Maria, thank you. And Sandra, thank you so much for your gracious work with us to put this together. We really, it's a pleasure to be here.
No, thank you so very much. And we wish you all a wonderful afternoon and a very most productive rest of the week. Happy afternoon. Muchas gracias. Obrigados.
Bye.
Adiós.
Bye-bye.
Bye.